Community Voices, Comedy Edition.
Hello, underlings. It is me, your gothic princess, ready to meet you in the fiery depths of Hades, where we will frolic together for all of our glorious and fiery eternity. Mwahahaha. Psst. Just kidding. It's me. Can you see? It's me, it's KDH, your workshop host and generally pretty lighthearted pal. Ugh, my wig. Today, I thought I would tap into my dark side in order to teach my dark comedy writing session right here on the Community Voices Comedic Writing Workshop Series, coming at you from the deep, evil darkness of the interwebs, specifically the Old Globe Theater's YouTube page. Speaking of unholy darkness, have you subscribed to our YouTube channel yet? Actually, that doesn't make any sense. There is no unholy darkness on our channel, just utter theater-making joy. But don't tell my vampiric overlord, okay? For today's standalone workshop, we're going to dig into what makes a dark comedy, and what makes a dark comedy funny, so you at home can develop your own dark comedic scene inspired by the prompt I'm going to give you at the end of this here workshop. As always, if your writing excites you, I hope that you'll submit your original work directly to me at kharoff@theoldglobe.org so I can provide some feedback and include it in our Comedic Writing Festival in April. You gotta be a part of that. And if dark comedy isn't your thing, and trust me, laughing at death and the darkness of the world is not everyone's thing, no worries, friend. Next week, we're going to dig into an entirely new theme, satirical writing, and that may be more your style. But as always, this is a workshop intended to stretch your writing muscles. And you might discover that you have quite the dark side to your humor that you didn't even know was there. So what's a dark comedy, you ask? So we can explore this genre that I think you might enjoy. What goes into this style of writing? There's a lot of definitions, but I actually like Judd Apatow's. He taught a masterclass on this subject and included this definition: that dark comedy, or black comedy, is a genre of film, television, and literature that brings satire and dark humor to subjects that are depressing, frightening, unpleasant, or taboo. He goes on to include an opinion that you can take or leave. He believes that the best dark comedies simultaneously entertain and expose corners of the human condition that the audience might feel uncomfortable about. So that's something to keep in mind as you evolve your own dark comedic voice. It is pretty instinctual for us to believe that when we set out to write a comedy, it should immediately all be funny all the time. But in the world of dark comedy, this world often exposes darkness in humanity through its wit, and the reality of cooking all that up in a text might mean that it's not all funny. Maybe some of it is funny. Maybe it's the juxtaposition of two different elements that make it funny. Or in the exploration of the darkness, you find that comedy. You find the slightly off elements that make the exploration funny. The nuance of the humor is very different than something that is anecdotal or a rom-com in nature. But just like every different genre that we're exploring, there are certainly many hybrids of lots of different genres. There are definitely dark comedies that are also rom-coms, like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Anybody? But if you're not sure if you've seen a dark comedy, I'm pretty sure that you have, unless you really adamantly have avoided the genre. This is not a genre that is low on content. Some favorites of mine include Heathers, Death Becomes Her, What We Do in the Shadows, both the film and the show. Love it. Fargo and Birdman. I love all of those pieces and highly recommend them. And what do they all have in common? Well, if you guessed that they all deal with death, darkness, existential life crises, but they deal with these things with humor, well, then you've guessed right. Knowing that those are all dark comedies, can you think of your own favorite dark comedy? Put it in the comments. I'd love to hear your own inspiration, and you might inspire someone watching tonight to check out more of this genre. Always very helpful. Now let's talk a little bit more about Death Becomes Her. This is a piece of dark comedy all around one specific premise as an inspiration, and I want to highlight that because it's important for today's prompt. This one element of inspiration was that a magic potion could give you the gift of eternal, gorgeous life. And then Death Becomes Her asks the question, what happens if someone tries to kill someone with this power? And the way that the movie dissects this dark question and the characters set within this really alternate world is what makes it hilarious. Plus, Meryl Streep has one of the funniest musical numbers ever. Check it out as inspiration if you haven't seen it already. Now, I want to dig into our example piece for today so you can continue to see the world of dark comedy at play in action and start to brainstorm your own ideas. And as a special treat for today, we're going to be sharing Jonathan Hammond's dark comedy short, The Unseen. This piece features the fabulously talented Patrick Mayuyu, and we're going to talk to both of them now about their work. Let's say hi.
Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Patrick.
Hi,
Thank
Katie.
you both
Hi.
so much for being here today. How are you? How are you, Patrick? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm here. I'm good. I'm alive.
You're
How are
alive.
you?
How about you, Jonathan? How you doing?
I'm doing really well. I'm taking a class and I get up really early for it. So, yeah, I'm energized. I'm intellectually stimulated. So.
That's wonderful.
For me.
You both got the memo of wearing dark colors for today's workshop. Thank you very much. I'm really excited to share Jonathan's short film, The Unseen, today as our example text for our dark comedy workshop. Thank you so much for letting us share that, Jonathan.
Thank you for sharing it.
Before we jump into it, and we're going to talk a little bit about it after we watch it, but before, I just wanted to ask you both, what is your favorite dark comedy? It could be movie, it could be a TV show, play, anything. Jonathan, let's start with you. What's your favorite dark comedy?
I would have to say, I think two of my favorite examples would be Pulp Fiction and Parasites. I think both of those movies like kind of jump genre, but they have so much dark humor in them, morbid humor where horrible things happen, and it creates incredible laughter. And I think they're really it's really bold choices to do that, you know, to laugh at someone maybe dying or being hurt. But they're handled in a way that I think is, the humor makes it humane, allows you to.
And it's funny, both of those movies are really critically acclaimed. So it's just something to keep in mind. Even if the genre is really outside of your orbit, that it's also something that people really enjoy existing in with people. The creativity that people go into with dark comedy is super exciting. And it excites the whole world of movie making to the point where a lot of these films are featured at the Oscars every year. Patrick, what's one of your favorite dark comedies?
Well, a few examples came to mind. I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's my favorite TV show. I was thinking about Three Billboards, the one with Woody Harrelson and Frances McDormand. That's a really good one. I just recently saw Promising Young Woman, and you can stream that now.
No spoilers.
I'm still no spoilers. I'm still thinking about it, and it takes something that's just so horrible, but the stuff that happens, I mean, there's funny moments in it that like distract from the dark subject matter, and it takes you on a roller coaster, and I recommend it, and that's what I thought of when I thought of dark comedy. It's a good movie.
And thank you for mentioning the Martin McDonagh piece, for Billboards, which I think if people are looking for specifically a dark comedy writer in theater, Martin McDonagh is your guy. He has a whole series of pieces that are exactly dark comedy, so much so that they might not be funny to you immediately, but they are intended to definitely be funny. Okay, I want to jump into Jonathan's example, which is a really excellent piece of dark comedy, and let's go ahead and share it. All right.
Hey.
Hey.
Big plans tonight?
No, guess again.
Little plans tonight?
I've got COVID-19 cookies in the oven, you?
Ooh, to die for.
To die. Well, 2%.
Not funny.
You laughed.
How's my hair?
It's slicker than an 82 Camaro.
That's a thing. That sounds like a thing I've heard.
It's a car.
Like a cool car?
Like the coolest.
Like the kind I'd be driving if I wasn't blind? Cool?
Yeah, and thank God, because the image of you in a Camaro is like blinding everyone else cool.
So how's my hair? For real?
It's great. Why? Do you have a date?
Well, hopefully.
Trevor!
Virtual, it's virtual. Internet sex is safe sex. I haven't been touched in weeks.
Me either. Thanks
coronavirus.
Oh, I forgot to tell you. I got the strangest text last night.
Strange how?
Well, I'm like sitting here and I'm like,
That was boring anyway. Siri, open Manhunter.
Open Manhunter account for Hot Filipino Blind Boy 89. New message from Hung Bottom 77, 8 miles away.
Automatically read messages, please.
Hey there, feel like hanging out?
Hanging out? In person? That does not sound like responsible social distancing. Send.
New message from Hung Bottom 77, 8 miles away. But bro, I'm super hot.
Like I care. I'm blind. Send. Siri, block Hung Bottom 77.
Hung Bottom 77, blocked.
He's probably not hung, and he's probably not even a bottom. I really want a COVID-19 cookie right now.
New message from No Name, 2 miles away. Sub.
Oh my god. I hate it when people say sup. Sup. Send.
New message from No Name, 2 miles away. I remember you.
Okay. Send.
New message from No Name, 1 mile away. That's all you have to say?
I'm sorry, I can't see you. Where do you know me from? Send.
New message from No Name, 3,000 feet away. You don't actually know me, but I know you.
Well, that's not creepy. And are you, by chance, driving? Send.
New message from No Name, 1,000 feet away. So are you really blind?
Like it says in my name. And how do you know me? And are you driving like really fast? Send.
New message from No Name, 200 feet away. I know, because you're on my list.
Where are you? Send.
And what list? Send.
New message from no name. 200 feet away. So if you are blind, how come you have the light on?
How do you know I have the light on? Send.
New message from no name. 200 feet away. How else would I know you are wearing a yellow shirt?
Joke's on you, I don't know what color shirt I'm wearing. Send. Siri block, no name.
No name blocked. New message from no name. 50 feet away. You're trying to seduce me, aren't you, Trevor? Don't you want to know why you're on my list?
Because I'm nice? And how do you know my name? Send.
New message from no name. 20 feet away. I know everyone's name on my list. You've been mean.
I'm really sorry. Where are you? Send.
New message from no name. 18 feet away. I'm right here.
Right where?
New message from no name. 10 feet away. I'm in your house, Trevor.
I never said send.
New message from no name. 10 feet away. I know.
Who's there?
Oh my god, are you okay?
There's somebody in this room.
What?
Look at my killer.
What? Trevor, I don't know what you're talking about, but I don't see anybody.
It said it was 10 feet away from me.
Who?
I don't know.
Okay, if it's 10 feet away from you, then it would be in the room. Show me the room. Okay, I don't know what's going on, but I don't see anything. Maybe it was just a glitch in your GPS. And why didn't you call 911? Wait, go back. Oh my God, John!
New message from no name. 7 feet away. Sup.
I think maybe you should come a little closer.
No name. 6 feet away.
Perfect. Ashu! Ashu!
Thanks, coronavirus.
All right, let's hear it for Patrick and for Jonathan, who created that piece. And for those of you that have really good ears, you might have been able to hear that I was the voice of Siri or the phone or the app or whoever. You're welcome. I know it was an incredible performance. You're welcome. Anyway, now I wanted to come back and just chat with these two about this piece. Patrick, I want to start with you as the performer of this work. What did you find funny? What drew you to it, and what was the comedic exploration for you?
I mean, the ending for me is like, you know, the punch at the end. It's just like, it's so unexpected. And it's like, you know, we're on this thing, we're like, what's going to happen? It's so suspenseful. And then, oh, that's the, yeah, the ending
And how
is
it kind of flips the tension on
the
its
flip of
head
it.
and just becomes really silly in the moment. I love it.
And I think that's what makes dark comedies so effective. You don't expect it. You don't expect it. So yeah.
Jonathan, what made you think of this? How does your brain work this way, friend?
I would have to say, like, probably three things, and that is the great thing about dark comedy and black comedy and this sort of thing is that dramatically you can make wide swings. You can really kind of go there, and it's usually you're allowed to be really shocking, and it's never cheap. And so I always appreciate that, and that's the kind of like those are the stories that will stick with you. So coming up with this, I would have to say that there's two things that made me think of it, the story, and one of them is this is sort of the setup is a blatant ripoff, not a dark comedy at all, but a blatant ripoff of Aliens. I was just thinking how much I marveled at this suspenseful scene where they are, they have the monitor and the aliens are like supposed to be in the room, and they're like, it's getting closer, it's getting closer, it's getting closer, and how much suspense that built. And then they're like, how can it be like 4 feet away? That's in the room, and they realize they're above them. So I want to just take that general conceit and I put it back in my mind, and then we made that for the 48-hour film festival for COVID, where you could have basically you can only use your pod. I was the only person on the crew, and Patrick's part of my pod. So I'm like, what can I do with just one person? And that came to mind, and I think I drew like dark comedy or horror, and just like, what can we do? Like, what can we do? He had to be blind because he had to be able to not see what's in the room. And then it's just my brain works that way. I don't know. I think I'm just I love to joke. And that was
Well, and what I appreciate from your breakdown is just sort of how the premise, this really kind of tense idea of something that you remember from a film, inspired the entire concept. And that's really where a lot of dark comedy comes from, is picking something that inherently is not funny and finding a way to kind of flip it on its head, take the elements of the darkness, but slightly alter something, add a joke, add a button, add something to the end of it that then allows all of the tension to shift and then become a very pointed, funny element, which I thought was so fabulous.
You just said it so much better than
Well, and I think it's important for people watching to like listen to how a person really puts together the elements of an idea, because sometimes it's really not rocket science. It's really just, oh, it would be funny if I tried that thing and I turned it upside down again. And we'll talk a little bit about exactly that with our handout for today. But for this moment, I just want to say thank you to Patrick and Jonathan for chatting with us. Thank you for sharing that fabulous short film with us. Thank you for being so talented. Thank you for being in my life.
Thanks for having me. Good to see you.
I hope you don't die or anything soon. Dark comedy. Bye, friends.
Bye.
Thank you so much to those two wonderful people of my life for sharing their super knowledge on this really spooky genre. As always, we really love to give people rounds of applause in our comment section. It's the closest we get to real applause. And I really enjoyed that conversation, and I hope that it was inspiring to you. And I'm going to now dive right into our prompt for this week so that you can get down on your own funny dark side. If you can, open up the handout from the link that's provided by our comment moderator. Feel free to open it now, but you can also grab it after the workshop, as I'm going to go over everything in it right now. Here are the prompts you're going to answer. Number 1. You're going to pick a theme that you are personally interested in that is on the dark side that you'd like to explore through a scene. For example, the piece today, that specific theme was this idea of someone getting stalked from a dating app. Super scary theme, right? That's all you need for this first answer is what is the theme or the idea or the setup that you would like to explore. The second question is to imagine this dark theme through a comedic lens. What are some of the elements of this dark theme that you may already find funny? Now, there's a chance that you might have picked this because you already know I can make that funny. I know exactly what to explore. But if you don't, that's okay. This is the moment where you can brainstorm that. How can you maybe flip this theme on its head, just like our film did for today? How can you invite the audience to laugh at this darkness? Maybe it's through juxtaposition of two contrasting ideas. Maybe it's just something inherently funny about your main characters and how they exist in the world of this darkness. There's lots of different things that you can explore in putting a lens on the darkness of this piece through a slightly off comedic element. Make that choice here and don't be afraid to get it wrong. You might pick something that really doesn't end up working. This is a workshop. This is an opportunity to play and explore. The third question is, who are the characters that exist in this dark world and what do they want? In the example today, we had Patrick's character who wanted a connection, who allowed that want to put them in this situation that was dark. Having your characters be motivated by their wants is always the best way to go in this world because it's going to make your piece interesting and it's going to make us care a little bit more about them because they're just struggling to get what they want. Number 4, what can happen to these characters in this world that may be surprising or create a comedic outcome? And this is another opportunity to brainstorm. For the unseen, you saw the outcome was how the piece maybe turned this frightening moment on its head. And like we chatted about, that was really where all of the comedy was in this specific piece. And that might be your piece as well. It might just be a lot of darkness with a cap of funny to be able to tell that punchline. Whatever works for you in this exploration, you get to decide how to make this world work for you. And after you've answered all of this prompt, I want you to write a 3 to 5 page scene within the world that you set up and explore your dark side. And as always, I would love to read your work and include it in our comedy festival in April. If you want some support in your writing, I would love to give you feedback and help you get the piece in a shape that you're excited about. And that's our workshop for today, my delightfully devilish friends. I hope you enjoy exploring your dark side this moment in time. I hope it's enlightening and hilarious. And if not, no biggie. You tried and we'll move on next week. And we're going to start all over again with a new theme, satirical writing. And I just can't wait. I don't know what I'm going to wear that will represent satire, but I'm going to figure it out. And make sure to check out all of our shows on the AETV channel. Word Up Fridays, The Poets Tree on Tuesdays, Creative U Studio is back on Wednesdays, and yours truly is going to be here on the Thursdays. See you in hell. I mean, next time. Mwah. Mwah.